Unbroken 2023, a thought leadership event held in Taj, Bengaluru, provided a platform for industry leaders around the world to engage in discussions revolving around temperature-controlled supply chain in India. CCUB is a prime initiative of Satish Lakkaraju, Global Head Air Freight and Pharma, Wizfreight, who has been passionate and committed to addressing the wastage of food and medicine in India. Krishi Jagran had the privilege to join CCUB 2023 as the Agri-Media partner, and during an exclusive interview with Krishi Jagran, Mr. Lakkaraju shared his story of beginning the cold chain unbroken in the country.
Well, event management was never my area of focus, but I thought I should build something which is beneficial to the industry. And at that point of time, I was seeing few challenges in this country. One was when I looked at any ICU in these hospitals, I realized that the hospitals don't even understand how to store pharma at the right temperature. And it was that which triggered in it, because at that point of time I lost my mom and dad as well. It was not because we did not have money to get them treated, but we realized that the way hospitals run the pharma transportation needed an area of attention, and that's how originally it was formed. And then later we realized that vaccine transportation is very, very critical, and unfortunately we got COVID, and during the COVID, most of the vaccines that were transported were products that were launched at CCUB. So to take things further, we now realize that food wastage is another major area. The farmers' suicide is a larger issue, because I come from a state called Telangana where the suicides were extremely heavy at one point of time. So we said, how do we help Indian farmers send their product to other countries, because India has enough of produce but the wastage level is high. Also somewhere we realized that fruits which are consumed are not really worth consuming, because they've already had the sort of infection that has come into it. So that resulted in CCU being born, and larger industry issues have been taken up. We've also, with every event, take up a larger issue. So in the first event, we took up X-ray machines issues, which was a big thing in the Indian airports. Second edition, we managed to talk about Indian airports and their infrastructure. And I'm happy to tell that Indian airports in the cold chain infrastructure are far superior to any international airport, which many of the people do not know. Third year, we looked at packaging and solutions, so both active and passive. And now we're looking at Make in India, Made by Indian. So this year we're looking at more products that are produced both on the tech side and the non-tech side.
So you are on the side which agrees to the fact that the capability or the potential of cold chain or supply chain in India is very huge.
Correct.
All right.
So one is that why is the gap between the requirement to what is on the ground so large? One needs to understand the capex involved in cold chain industry is extremely high, and the return on investment that one gets is extremely low. Two is that whether you have 1 kilo of cargo in the warehouse or you have 10 kilos of cargo or 10 tons of cargo, you still have to run your compressors and electricity for that one particular cargo, because you built up such a site. So I think that is one area where government can really step in with policies and decision making. Two, also in the reefer truck transportation, there is huge opportunity which many do not know. So in this event, one of the things that we are doing is we are launching one of the trucks which is based on PCM and technology, wherein you don't need to really spend the refrigerators to be run constantly, but with solar energy you can charge the trucks, and that will result in transportation at a much lower cost with no vulnerability to the cargo. So we are trying to get in new things which the industry's awareness increases. We're looking at larger partnerships. Also, India can become the future for packaging if we really look at it, because we already have the scale. And one of the things that we are trying to do is how can Indian packaging companies really export their products to other parts of the world like Africa and Middle East, where they really need this type of a product.
Because there is a huge potential that this particular industry has in this country. So what do you think the stakeholders must focus on particularly in order to increase its growth?
So any business that you do, should be focused primarily on that end consumer or customer who is the user of the product. So, in order to bridge the gap, one, you need economies of scale, and once you have economies of scale, then you can really bring the pricing aspect low. But at this stage, one of the things that is lacking is that awareness is lacking. So how do we increase awareness? By events as such, you tell what is available for the end consumer.
Chain Unbroken was a mega event presenting a wide range of panel discussions spread over 2 days. Satish Lakkaraju talks to Krishi Jagran on how the discussions put emphasis on ocean freight, perishables, and even highlighting the importance of sustainability.
The way it is done is that on the day 2, we have focused on 3 critical aspects. One is the ocean freight part of it. How the ocean freight industry over the years has evolved from shorter transit time, better control on temperature, better visibility, and they are actually become a big challenge or and competitor for the air cargo. So what are the learnings that we can get out of ocean freight for the air freight people? Is that how could they innovate, and why air freight industry when there is speed in rest of them? And then what are the benefits that come out of it? So that is the one track that we are looking at. The other, like I said, is that perishables is a great opportunity. Countries like Kenya have done far better than what India have done, because they have mastered something known as contract farming. They've also mastered that the same seed is sown by all the farmers at the same time, so that the produce that can come is so large that you can put a charter aircraft and uplift the cargo. So I think that is the other thing, is how do you really leverage on the Indian agri system, and how can we get to the scale of Kenya or someone else, is what we want to do in the second track of the day. The third track that we are looking at is very, very clearly about sustainability, energy saving techniques. So we have partnered with an organization called WRA. WRA is really working on a lot of initiatives along with the Government of India and Niti Aayog. So we are bringing the trucker community also, and the end user is saying what is the expectation in the trucking. Are they looking at safe delivery? Are they looking at visibility? And how do you then not pollute the country, because pollution is a big issue sort of it. So that track is basically focused on that aspect of how do we address. So I think these are the main tracks that one should really be looking at on day 2, apart from the business presentation that we get to see from the ports.